Hi, everybody. This is Ala Shaheen. I'm from DARPE, and I'm happy today to meet you online to discuss several issues on international development industry, or we call it international development sector, or whatever sector or industry. But it is an industry similar to others, which has a lot of certain standards that organizations and consulting firms need to have in order to operate within this kind of industry, international development industry. So I'm happy to host you today to discuss this in general and the international development aid landscape in the MENA region, as well as to go deeper to what are the best practices for non-governmental organizations and for consulting firms and any other professional service industry who would like to work with international development aid money, how they can start building best practices for building long-standing, trusted partnerships, and then how they can be able to link requests for proposals with a couple of business intelligence information they need to have in order to prepare a winning proposal. So we start from the macro level, from the international development landscape in the MENA region. I'm talking today about the MENA region, not specific country, Middle East and North Africa. And then we go down to how to build a partnership, trusted partnership. And then we go down on how to best practice on how to develop winning proposals. This is the way that we will structure today's webinar. But let me start by introducing DARPE and introducing which is the source of information that we have based our presentation today. So I'll share the screen first. Here is the screen is shared now with you all guys. DARPE is a platform. It's a partnership and proposal development enabling platform. And it is focusing mainly on the international development industry of the MENA region. And our current proposal, our current portal includes currently 18 countries of the Arab region. So we are focusing on 18 countries of the Arab region, from Morocco to Iraq to Yemen to Palestine, Egypt, Sudan, as well as Turkey has been added to our platform due to the exodus and due to the presence of Syrian refugees, where international development aid projects are allocated and invested to serve those Syrian refugees. So we consider Turkey also as part of the coverage that we really cover in this portal. DARPE, the purpose of DARPE is to provide you with all the information needed for non-governmental organizations, community development associations, consulting firms, as well as individual consultants to write winning proposals and to build informed relationship between each other and between each with the potential client they may have and they may locate through DARPE. So it has so many information in it that helps are necessary this information and considered as business intelligence information to support organizations and consulting firms to build relationships and develop winning proposals. In DARPE, we start with, here is, for instance, in DARPE, you can find opportunities. I mean, all tenders and grants opportunities, all procurement notices are sourced artificially using coding and algorithm, as well as personal. We have personnel, management information staff, and researchers who collect the data, procurement notices from smallest organizations, international organizations working, designing and delivering development projects in the MENA region, any of the MENA region countries, as well as from larger bilateral and multilateral organizations, including USAID, European Union, the Swedish Development Agency, the Norway, the UK, FCDO, the Foreign Commonwealth Development Office, and so on. So and other organizations like the KfW, as well the German Bank, the BMV of the Germany, as well as GIZ. And as much as possible. And actually, we are amazed of the number of foundations and international organizations available in the world to provide assistance or money and investments to work in developing countries, including the Middle East and North Africa. We were amazed of the number of those organizations. Every day, you can see a birth of organization, or our staff knew a new organization in which it is interested to invest, design development projects, and invest in delivering the impact and the change these organizations desire to achieve. So we collect all the data information coming from 1,100 plus sources of donor agencies, for instance, and not only donor agencies, but also the second layer, which are the international organizations who get money either from the donor agency, the bilateral, multilateral, government-based organizations like USAID, as well as they have their own sources and fundraising sources from their individuals in their countries, and fundraising resources from other corporate funders. So they pool such amount of money, these international organizations, from, we call it funding mix. So they get all the money and they start designing and implementing. So what we do is to aggregate all these procurement notices. So in a real time, so local NGOs, our members, DARPE members and DARPE consulting firms will not miss an opportunity not knowing about. So all the time, we keep our main target, or our main objective is to make sure that our members are relying on a reliable, high percentage of confidence rate that we are collecting and aggregating all of these procurement notices, requests for proposals, or requests for applications for NGOs, or individual consulting assignments. These coming, for instance, as you see in the homepage here, you can see we get procurement notices from the International Organization for Migration, from the FAO, actually the 27 or 28 UN organizations, of course, we are collecting them. And then you have here an organization coming, a project coming from project audit services by the Peru for Humanitarian Affairs of the USAID. It's a project funded by the Peru of Humanitarian Affairs and then we can see Enable, which is the Belgium Development Cooperation. Then you can see GIZ, and European Union, European Oxfam. And here you can see Oxfam, Oxfam Great Britain, GP, and we also get notices from Oxfam, Novib, and so on. So we get all of these. We can say that we are the highest, largest, even compared to competitors, global competitors, and competitors coming from the South. I think we get data more reliable, more comprehensive, and from everyone and from everywhere. And these are searchable by countries of the Middle East, by sectors of agriculture, arts and culture, child rights, climate change, democratic governance, economic growth, education, entrepreneurship, food security, and so on. We have about 22 sectors, and we are even having subsectors as well, so we can more detail and classify the data that we have, so it's more searchable, so you can get only what you need to get. Exactly. So we eliminate a lot of hassle of the bulk of information available in the world and around us and everywhere, in Facebook, in LinkedIn, and so on. Actually, we are also aggregating from these sources. And so we get everything here and classified, so you can easily searchable In minutes, you can get the relevant, suitable, most relevant request for proposals and request for applications, saving a lot of time, saving a lot of costs because of this classification system that we have. This classification system is enabling us to get to develop monitoring reports about the international development industry in the Middle East. So one of the things that we provide is our opportunities. So these are the requests for proposals, requests for applications in real time, and in which we, and then others, and other data we have on the website are organizations database. And we call them development partners, whether they are funding or implementing. And again, we have a great searchable engine in which you can search by category. Is it international organization? Is it a local and regional NGO? Is it a local consulting business? Or is it a government? Or is it a bilateral, multilateral funding agency, and so on? Or even corporate funders, as well as Arab foundations or Arab organizations. Similar, like Mohammed bin Salman Foundation, like Walid bin Talal Foundation, Walid Philanthropies, like Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum Global Initiatives, Dubai Care included, and so on. So we have all these data organizations listed in there. We have about 7,000 something of organizations with all information, including contact information, in which it helps NGOs, consulting firms, and consultants to connect and engage. We also have a database, and this is the database of development partners all over the 18 countries of the Arab world plus Turkey. Also, we have a database of consultants. It's still growing, but consultants it's free of charge. So consultants, individual consultants can upload their profile and create a profile at DARPE. This will be their online profile at DARPE. They can change it, they can update it, they can delete it at any time. What this will provide, it has two benefits. The consultants themselves will be seen and contacted by whole DARPE members and whoever comes in and stands on our landing pages, so they can see all the consultants database, and they can even contact and look for information for you, and maybe the potential business could happen. For the consultants and for the members, the consulting firms and organizations, this database is a very great source to select key personnel while they are recruiting for positions or jobs, or while they are doing their proposals, in which they want to have CVs in it as key personnel or the personnel section. So usually our members resort to DARPE platform to search, filter, and connect with those consultants. This is a free of charge service for our members. They can go and access this database, and they can get the CVs, and they can get the contact information directly of those consultants, and then the business can start here, either recruitment, as I have said, for jobs, or either for potential recruitment positions for proposals. And then we have done this to make sure that DARPE is an enabler for proposal writing. To develop proposals, you need consultants. It's important to have consultants into your team, your proposed team. So we thought at that time, let's build a database for consultants so our members can benefit from. The consultants on the other side, it's a win-win. The consultants from the other side will have increased visibility and increased presence online, so people can, they can receive, who knows, if they can receive an email, or someone is contacting them to partner. So it's a win-win approach. Also, we have added an awards database in which we are putting all awarded contracts and awarded agreements and grants, so you are aware of who has given, who has been awarded, who has won contracts. You will learn about the contracts themselves, and you will learn about if there is an RFP for that contract, we will attach it. You will understand the duration of these contracts, and the most important, the value, the budget for these consulting contracts or for these grants. So this is one important information you need to have in order when you write your proposal, you start knowing where you need to price your contract based on the market value and based on those awarded contracts. So you understand the estimated value that you would like to not to exceed in order to have a price to win. Price to win. Here we have a number of contract awards coming from the World Bank, from GIZ, from Global Green Growth Institute, and so on. So here, for instance, we have Pillars Consulting is the winner of this project with the World Bank in Palestine. IPSOS, another consulting firm. Ibitisa in Turkey. Resonate in Yemen, Climate Focus, and the Arab Tech Jordana, another project for mapping. So you know who are the winners, and this potentially provide you with two information, either for partnership, potential partnership, or a potential competitor. For instance, if I'm going to work in Jordan, and there is a project about circular economy for small, medium entrepreneurs, then you have Arab Tech Jordana. Arab Tech Jordana is a competitor. And this for me, for the first time, to understand that Arab Tech Jordana is working in these small, medium enterprises where I thought they work more into engineering. So here is a new competitor, a firm that in Jordan, so that you may partner with or you may compete with. And I hope that if we clicked, I'm clicking on this opportunity, and you will find Jordan, and you find the sectors, and the value was $10,000 and has been awarded in June 30th, 2023 for a mapping study. It was $10,000. So you understand now where is the budget and where you can build your price to win into your coming proposals. This is what with DARPE. We have other resources of DARPE. You have development news, we have webinars recordings, we have market analytics reports, and also you in DARPE, you can share your story free of charge to be seen by you share a solution-oriented, impact-driven story. We shape and we share and disseminate across our 35,000 audience of people who have subscribed to our newsletter or are members of DARPE, and as well as from the database that we have created of the organizations and consultants and local NGOs and local consulting firms. So we share this newsletter to them on a weekly basis, so your name could be seen as a thought leader. So we call it advertise that what matter. We advertise what matter, or advertise with purpose. So it's a platform, an aggregator in a nutshell of the Middle East that's bringing in all the data, the information, which is the most important for organizations, consulting firms to start doing their businesses, either to develop and write good proposals and winning proposals, or to start implementing informed partnerships. All will, by the end of the day, will have two major purposes. The first major purpose is local NGOs, local consulting firms, and international ones as well are aware of what's going on in the Middle East. They can bid, they can write good proposals based on the information they have. Then they can win the contracts and awards. They can grow their businesses and their organizations, or sustain their organizations. The second purpose is, once you have all the information there, you understand the competitors and the partners, so you can talk to each other in a partnership agreement. You talk with technical value and technical information, you share it. Once you have all the information about the different RFPs from the Hey guys, hello. I'm so sorry that this happened. So I will share again my screen. 1 minute, please. Seems that everything has been okay. Here is, I'm sharing the screen now, and so back, just this was an introduction to DARPE, so to let you know who we are, and and what kind of data and information we make available. And you know, information is valuable, invaluable, and information is the most important source for writing winning proposals. And these information are important for what we call captured planning. So it's capturing. You need to capture the opportunity. In order to capture an opportunity, you need to have all of such information. So we provide this over our website. We have, as I said, we have several data researchers, management information officers working in DARPE on daily basis by the clock, just to aggregate and collect all the information that we have to provide it for DARPE subscribers. That said, here is we have DARPE. We have accordingly what we have done. We have analyzed all these procurement notices, thousands of procurement notices, 9,500 something procurement notice has been analyzed, because as I said, we are classifying them in algorithm. We have been analyzing them, and we are getting from that such raw data some information that should alight to where international development money are allocated. It's international development money as well as Arab organizations' money, but as more are available from the international development procurement notices, so it's more about international development. So from these procurement and notices that we are gathering, we have been able to come up with certain numbers and certain graphs to shed a light on where the money is mostly expended or delivered in the MENA region, where donor agencies, the Western world, the northern part of the globe, major international organizations, all international organizations, bilateral, multilateral funding agencies, where their interests more laid in the MENA region, what is their focus areas, where their money is being spent. So accordingly, from this, I will share now my presentation. 1 minute, please. So the whole what we can see here in this slide, for instance, it's where the money has been spent in terms of development sectors across the MENA region. We have done an average study. There's some limitations of this study that we have done. First, the limitation, it's not per country, it's average of the MENA region. So you might find plus or minus differences. And if you compare the number, for instance, here, health, 11.6% of donors funding projects or funded projects and assignments across the MENA region, health gets 11.6%. The main sector where donor agencies are focusing on, followed by economic growth of 10.8%. And then economic growth, including private sector development, private sector support, trade included in economic growth, trade as well. And then followed by women rights and empowerment. Seems in women rights and empowerment is a major important factor for donor agencies. 9.3% of funding is allocated to these kind of assignments, followed by democratic governance, anti-corruption, municipal strengthening, decentralization, elections and electoral systems and electoral commissions. So a lot of money, again, 8.7% are invested in this area. And a little bit more into education, still an interest, but less than the first four sectors: health, economic growth, women rights and empowerment, and democratic governance. With a little bit of difference goes to education, and then environment and energy, climate change, there's kind of a group of within the 5 to 4%. And then you go into a little bit less important for them of activities like water and wastewater, arts and culture, agriculture, food security, infrastructure, waste management, and so on. Industry, 1.1, for instance. Tourism, 1.2% only. So you go here is lower level of investment, where in the above part is a higher level of investment, where it goes to health, economic growth, women's rights and democratic governance, education as well, environment and energy, I would say. This is as an average across the MENA region. So it is not a specific country. We got the numbers of each specific country are available in DARPE through, you click on what you call procurement analytics. And we have developed reports of procurement analytics per each country to give an image or an X-ray of where the money is most invested. This could help a lot of people working in development planning at ministerial level to understand where the money should be allocated. For instance, I can say from this graph that there is little into productive sectors of economic growth like industry, tourism, and infrastructure compared to democratic governance, women's rights and empowerment, and education. Even I can say that there is a need for more into education. But these sectors are usually designed by or decided by both. Should be the donors, the international organizations, and of course the governments, the governments of the Arab countries, represented by the ministries of planning, ministries of investment, and so on. Mainly, most potentially, Ministry of Planning. So Ministry of Planning could say, yeah, guys, we need to increase here and we need to decrease here. There's an important, we can see that there is the interest, we need to shift it a little bit. And specifically now we can use these numbers, and especially coming with the localization agenda and making sure that these projects are owned by countries and then improving their sustainability, increasing ownership by local governments, I mean, governments of the Arab country. So people can now, I think they can at least, we can use these numbers to interfere in allocating their projects. And at the same time, for the business level or the macro level, again, it's the business level, the micro level, and the consulting firm level, you can know where the most projects are. So you start focusing on getting, trying to focus or expand to see where you can get and grow your business. This in terms of sectors. And as I said, these numbers have been gotten, we got these numbers, these percentages, from analyzing the request for proposals, request for applications publicly published. And this is one limitation, because all are publicly online, because we aggregate from online. And as I said, it was about 9,000 above over the year. And so percentage of error is little because the sample is huge. The same thing, we have applied the same thing on the services. What are most type of consulting services are requested? Clearly shown, monitoring and evaluation. 22.7% of these assignments, or these projects, need and request the services of monitoring and evaluation. So monitoring and evaluation, MIL and M&E, learning and evaluation, is important skill in not only the way that you need to have into your organizations or into your consulting firms, but also into within your proposals, because there is a great interest on it to have it as a professional service delivery, followed by capacity building and training, followed by institutional strengthening, understandable with the democratic governance, understandable with the education and health. Then you have to reform and strengthen systems. So that's why there's 17.3% on institutional strengthening, and the same thing for capacity building and evaluation. Amazingly, accounting and auditing, there is growing interest in investing in bringing auditing firms, financial auditing firms, to audit the projects that they are implementing. Either the grants are giving to NGOs or the projects they are implementing. So this is an important, seems that for me, this is the first time I know that 13.3% of consulting assignments applied in DARPE from these 9,000 plus RFPs over the last year going to accounting and auditing. And then after that, for advocacy and awareness raising, media communication with ICT solutions, if you can see 6.1%, and this goes as little as, and then understandable, because you have ICT solutions, whereas infrastructure at the same time as the sector was little, 2% only in terms of the sectors. So where it comes ICT solutions, with infrastructure related, so it's a 6%, and then even environmental service, engineering service, little. So you can see that engineering is little here, 3%, but it's still there. And then you go down to a list of other services that are requested. In terms of sectors and services, it's a rainbow. They are diversified from monitoring and evaluation, capacity building, until human resource management. And in terms of sectors, they go from health until you go to industry. So it's well diversified, but the issue is the percentage per each, where you can indicate the significance from the perspective of the donor agencies. And accordingly, you start adopting, improving your business strategy, departments, the way that you are going to establish. So in order to capture as much as you can, for instance, monitoring and evaluation, I would definitely endorse having monitoring, evaluation, and learning department into your consulting firms or into your NGOs. A must. It's a 22.7%, and should be a strength and a focus for your organizations on that, either to apply for it so you can do it, or either have it within the system so you can also apply it when you are applying your projects, designing and implementing projects, and so on. At the same time, as I said, for decision makers, they can consider these graphs as what we can say, an X-ray of international development aid in the Middle East. And you know that international development aid across the Middle East, it exceeds several billions of US dollars a year. So this is the first part of today's seminar or webinar about international development funding landscape. Once we understand that, we go the process of how can we build relationships. DARPE is based as a theory, as a structure of the website. It is based on this theory that you see in your screens. That if you want to build a stronger relationship and you want to have to work smarter, to win more smarter, you need to capitalize on what we call the connected experience. And this will be done by a journey of 4 phases: scout, engage, position, capture. And DARPE has been set up on that, actually. When you scout, you start looking for tenders and the grants and opportunities to bid for. So you make a populating your pipeline of opportunities, relevant ones. That's why we have a search engine. So you can get relevant opportunities and you can remove and avoid all the hassle and the noise around you of information. So you know what you want to bid for. And then you start, in the DARPE itself, there is a recommendation for who you could partner or could compete with. You start with recommendation of partners and competitors. And then you can see similar opportunities. And these similar opportunities could give you for different donors and different organizations. By the way, once you read a couple of them, could help you getting thoughtful ideas, because you will learn the different approaches other donors are doing, other organizations are doing. You can get from there and there. You start creative, you start being creative, and then you start proposing for your client with creative solutions. How do you know that? By reading. Read to lead. So similar opportunities, you will learn different approaches that you can apply. Also, as I said, from DARPE, you can see the awarded projects. Once you have the awarded projects, you understand who has been awarded, gives you, again, potential partners, potential competitors, and the cost, the price that you will win. Price is important in proposal writing. So usually we don't know how much this does it cost. Is it 8,000 US dollar? Is it 7,000 US dollar? Or is it 12,000 or 15,000 or 20,000? If you don't know, you might bid with 20,000, you are out of the market. Or you may bid of 5,000 or 6,000, you are losing. So you need to see where the money, how much is costing this service, away from even you calculating and breaking down, but as a budget ceiling. So from awarded projects, you engage, you use the database of DARPE, you get the contact information for people, you start connecting with them, you start build informed partnership. You position. Through DARPE, we do webinars and we do success stories in which you position and promote your work in front of audience that you are targeting. So they start remembering you. Remember your name, remember your logo. So it's a logo and positioning and brand awareness. And then you capture. Once you have all the information that you have done before, in scout, engage, and position, you are ready to put on the table a nice proposal, winning proposal that the client knows about you before because you have positioned, you have contacted them because you have engaged with them, and you are putting creative ideas, responses to, and solutions to the RFPs that is published on DARPE. So this is the process. Through a whole process, you add value. As you go, you add value. What value? You add value of the benefits and outcomes because of your presence, because of your capacity, because of your solutions. These benefits and outcomes are the value for the customer, the client. So while you're doing this, you are going through this 4 phases: business development, fundraising, or business development, fundraising, or even proposal writing and capture planning process. You are getting into a more winning, and you will improve your winning rate. For 2023, DARPE members, we have made a survey, and survey results are available, and anyone can look at them if you want. The DARPE subscribers have testified that their winning rate was 52% due to using DARPE data information, because now they know what the opportunity are, so they don't lose an opportunity. And the way that we provide information for them, they testified that 52% the average winning rate of DARPE subscribers. And this is a great rate, by the way. We hope that this rate will increase to 60% and more. The more information we bring in, I think this rate will be higher. But this takes time, takes design and algorithm, and takes time for the personnel and the requirements of the personnel and the people, staff that we need to recruit at DARPE. So we provide the more information we're going to provide, and we hope that we will do that, inshallah. The percentage will, the winning rate percentage will increase. Our members will witness an increased winning rate of their proposals. So we finished now 2 sections of this, 2 parts of this presentation. The first one is a landscape understanding of funding landscape. The second way is how to build proactive and reactive long-term trusted relationships through the information. Information is the source of making, and when you talk, when you engage, you talk of meaningful, not meaningless. You talk about impacts and benefits for both, not about I. We start talking about we, you, and the client organization together will work into something. So you start into more mission-oriented, purpose-oriented. Then The third part of the presentation today, and then we'll open for questions, is what is meant by an opportunity that is integrated within the information you have in DARPE. In order to win a proposal, you need 7 items, 7 steps to win more contracts and awards. One, simply downloading, identifying request for proposal. Easy. No opportunity, no nothing. So the first thing is to download, identify, and download the request for proposal or request for application. Then you need to, of course, to read it. Then you need to know more about the client organization by understanding, by talking to them. Meeting with them is the most important source. But even if you can't read their documentation, request for proposals, request for application, previous ones, so you can understand what you call their ideology, understand their organizational thinking. So you are able to communicate in a two-way of communication that is understandable, and the client will start. So you need to understand the client understanding. The third one is you need to understand yourself, about your corporate strength, who you are, what you are bringing on the table, and then the competition analysis. So you understand how to level the field, how to compete, how to unseat competitors. So you understand that, and by this understanding of the competition will certainly get ideas for you that you may include in your proposal, where you call them winning themes. Then the fifth item is your partnering strategy, if any. The sixth part of a winning proposal is to select the right key personnel, propose the right key personnel, the project manager, deputy project manager, the training specialist, the M&E specialist that you are going to propose in the proposal. And the seventh part that you need to make sure that you are well competent with is to put a price to win. And I think I have discussed that. So you have a budget or a project, a budget that is not the highest, is not the lowest even, but is the best value, or value, what you call best value, or value for money, in which you have a balance between what you are going to provide, your value proposition, with the money that you will get paid. And now most donor agencies, international organizations, are looking for best value selection, and we name it here as price to win. And of course, that's why you have to have so many information to help you getting you to that price. So these 7 items are so important to get the intelligence from, to feed in, and to support your thinking while conceptualizing your proposal and conceptualizing your solution, and while writing your narrative. So your narrative will be more convincing, more persuasive, and hopefully more winning. This is the third item of our agenda today. I finished here, and I'm happy to get to the questions. Thank you. So we have a question from Ala Arid. Ala said, hi, I'm Ala, assistant, an artificial intelligence assistant, helping Ala Al-Ard to take notes from this meeting. This is, wow. So he's working, Ala Al-Ard is employing an artificial assistant.
This is for translation.
Translation?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. And then Hassan, informative and value added. Thank you, Hassan. Then Andrea, over what time frame does this data refer to? The data refers to over 1 year, Andrea. I'm from January 2023 till end of January. It's a real time, by the way, till the date of today. But it is over previous 12 months. Is this from funding the last year? Yes. I mean, as I said, Jan to Jan, or last 5 years? No, it's the data is for 1 year. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Spelling for engage. Thank you very much. Okay. Do you have any question, guys? You can raise your hand and we can discuss. Anyone has any question? First of all, I would like to urge you all to develop, create a profile for you as consultants or your organizations as a free of charge in order to be seen and hopefully contacted and hopefully getting more business. So you have an online presence at DARPE. So it's easy. It's the footer, create your profile. Secondly, I would also urge you to do a demo call with our staff members so you can learn more about DARPE and how DARPE can help you in getting more specifically into your own case, into your own organization, so you can see the list of opportunities available for your non-governmental organization or consulting firm. So do you have any question? You have a question from Lama Kautharani from Sphere Building Tomorrow. Go ahead, Lama. Go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Hello, sir. Thank you for the presentation. Very informative and clear and in depth. The insight and the input are pretty clear. But I'm here. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. I'm Lama Kautharani, the Executive Director of Sphere Building Tomorrow. It's a local Lebanese NGO organization. Existing in Beirut as headquarters and in many other surrounding places like Mount Lebanon. And we work in livelihood and socio-economic sectors across Lebanon. So on field level, we are everywhere and we're looking always not to forget any vulnerable person behind. And we are doing our best. Nothing is perfect. And from a other perspective regarding what's related to the interconnection or cross-functional mobility that is related between NGO organization that most of the time are implemented on fields and the funders or donors. You provide always, and we thank you for that. We facilitate the process halfway. So basically, I can suggest, since we have been a subscriber in DARPE since 2 years, okay? Yani we have been established in 2018 and 2022 almost we've been with you. And to be honest, yes, we didn't get any fun, but the process taught us a lot, okay? How we can get the key and how we can facilitate to us to create our network and connection. But I can suggest something. I don't know if my colleagues or the active actors here can agree on it, which is if you are, let's say, as an interlinkage agent between the people on field and the people that are planning and designing the program and the agenda. Why we do, you cannot be a part of this networking building. Not just sat by, okay, we have to read, but there's always, and we are good readers, trust me, but between the lines, there's always a design agenda that is not highlighted to everyone. So once these two, let's say 2 pillars, the operational people and the funders peoples get connected, you must facilitate and decrease the bridge of trust, because, you know, between them, trust needs time. So you provide this facilitation and gain halfway, have time, save time, and I think it will be more efficient. Why? Because identifying local NGO in the Middle East, you can easily identify the relation and who's suitable to whom. Okay, the win-win situation, because sometimes the size of the NGO is much, much greater than the size of the proposal of the intervention. So maybe self-assessment is not enough. Being into networking and creating this coalitions and partnership might facilitate to create win-win situation. This is my only suggestion, and thank you. I'm sorry if I took a lot of time.
No, it's interesting. No, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Lama. And it's really interesting. What we have, this is, this networking and this connecting people and bridging the gap, and then get things together, people together. I think it's a great idea. We need to think of it and how we can do it. Maybe we could do that, by the way. Maybe, for instance, by arranging meetings or webinar, for instance, between organizations working on livelihood programs in Lebanon at the local level, and the livelihood programs and income generation, improving reduction of poverty through the employment generation and microfinance, maybe, or small medium entrepreneurs, whatever, about the livelihood programming. And then we ask donors to come in and attend, to listen to the NGOs, and each NGO can talk about themselves for 5 minutes, about what they have done, what their impact, what their achievements, and then we can see maybe a reaction from those donor agencies who are listening to, and maybe they can get some comments to the local NGOs on how they think they need to improve themselves, or what they're looking for partners. And then after that, we can share these contact information as if you are meeting them at a table in the morning, in a cafe, in a hotel. And then people start connecting with each other and talking to each other. And this could be then replicated to an enormous number of thematic areas, from the livelihood to the health, to the entrepreneurship, to the infrastructure, to the engineering, and so on. So in which we introduce local organizations with international funding, and then we bridge the gap culturally, and bridge the gap in terms of ideology. Again, I repeat the ideology, and this, you said that there is always this money coming from, usually the biggest chunk of money comes from international government agencies, like the US to the USAID, like the French government to the French Development Agency, the UK government and Ministry of Affairs to the Foreign Commonwealth Development Office, FSDO. So it's the Italian government to the Italian International Organization Cooperation, the EU, and so on, the German, and so on. And those, as I said, in addition to that, there is a growing philanthropic movement in which these international organizations have built excellent trust. You can go to these organizations and you can see donate. And then these international organizations, through donation from people, are getting a lot. And even sometimes more than what they are getting from grants, international grants. So we bring these people, organizations in, and with you guys, and this might be a potential agreement or partnership. Because when you do a partnership, you need to have a dialogue. We need to talk. We need to see each other. We need to learn about each other. And we need to see. As I said, talk in order for me to see you. This could be, yes, interesting networking events. But yes, it's interesting. But currently, DARPE provide you with the information, the contact information, and it needs a business to be able to successfully build on DARPE data. You need to have a great business developer or a proposal developer that is watching DARPE on daily basis. We all the time we bring in new organizations working in the Middle East. Every day, there's new organizations working. I heard there's a 50 million NGOs, international organizations across the world. 50 million. So we have only 6,000. And our target in the Middle East of organizations working in the Middle East who either get money by donations from their foreign individual citizens or from other corporates or from grants. Our target is at 80,000 organization to be established in DARPE, and currently we are 6,000. But it's good for organizations, you as for instance, Sphere Building for Tomorrow, have a person who is really watching it today, every day, and trying to filter these organizations and see which one to go or not to go with, and each bid to go or not to go with, and start building relationships. You start communicating, emailing, making talks, meeting them, and you start building relationships and partnerships. It needs a lot of movement and a lot of investment. But what we do is facilitating the first step, which is information, and then you build on it. But having this network activity and bridging, I think it's a great idea, Lama. Thank you so much for it. And I think we hope that we can talk to you to see how can we do it.
Thank you so much. I think my camera is not working. I will turn it off. It doesn't work, but my mic is fine. So thank you again. Thank you for supporting the idea. And I just want, if you allow me, by a few points, which is a little point to be added to your valuable words, which is the main secret to do this approach is to well identify. So based on assessments, okay, the profile of each local NGO or individual or consultant available on DARPE can be well identified. In parallel, correlated with that, you know the profile of funders, they will be well identified, and this way it's easily to match the correct organization to the other one, and to do the proper correlation. لأنه it's at the same time we had an experience, it was so risky. It's a سيف ذو حدين. I don't know how to translate it in English, but sometimes it might go very high with high privileges. Sometimes it's a high risk, to not say it's the worst scenario you can ever see. But what I can say, if it's not correlated properly and it's not matchable, you can see the size and capacity of an NGO and another is higher and not equitable to each other. This will frustrate both. Some of them will find themselves very incapable, and it's not the right way to do it because they didn't reach the right position yet. This doesn't mean they are not capable, but they are not in the same level of the other. So it's so risky, but at the same time, if we take it in the right way, it will be full of improvement. And I think, وطمعاني, let's say here, إنه to make DARPE one of the main agent to facilitate this network and to identify this, because, you know, Middle East or non-Middle East, we are all going on crisis and on different sectors, and it's getting worse day by day. So humanity, I think we all agree it's in high risk, and we have to take care of it, to integrate it in a community, solid one, healthy one. And in this way, we will be relived the corporate sector, because who separate the corporate of the humanitarian, I think he is not seeing the thing from all angles, all corners. So this is what we call humanitarian nexus development. You can never divide the social from the economic. So like you cannot divide the body, the eyes from the mouth. It's a one entity, one body. And sorry for taking so long again. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lama. It's interesting idea. Thank you so much. Guy, we will talk later on that. So anyone else who would like to, now we have Karim Postani. Let's say we have a question from Omar Ala. Hi, Ala, this is Omar. So is the funding trends also indicative of the expected areas of funding for 2024 and 2025? Since the data is based on the last year numbers, how can we use this data to predict future trends? Very difficult question. We can't predict the future unless we know the history. So historical data always are basis of future. So I don't think that there will be a huge shift in from next year, last year to the next year. I don't think, for instance, next year you'll find funding coming to infrastructure, to water and wastewater. This could be, if there are situations, unusual situations happening, or political situations happening, you might have shifting donor agencies funding. But if it is the situation as it is now, with less political risk, I think for historical data, I can most probably consider it for the 2024, 2025. So it's, and usually, you know, planning comes into years, 5 years of plan, and the 5 years of plan, this data, you can estimate it for the next year and couple of years, unless of unforeseeable conditions happen. But in order to predict exactly what will happen the year after, I think we need to read their country strategy development programs and plans for these donor agencies, and this is huge. And accordingly, you analyze them and you can see what are the perspectives coming in. But this could be changing also as well if there is something happening. Unforeseeable thing. So to be safe saying, I think, yes, you can still use it for the coming years. These are the trend, and this is the way that you are doing, and this is the way that you go through, and then year after year you are changing. So we are doing it on a yearly basis. From Karim Postani said, building on Lama's well-expressed point, do you plan on informing us about those who organize conferences or annual meetings for consultants consulting in the region? Sorry, Karim, could you please repeat your question? Karim, is Karim with us? Karim.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Karim Bustani. So is there annual meetings in the regions where consulting firms and consultants come together and present and network together, whether in Dubai or KSA, where that could be a vehicle to reach, to bridge, basically.
Yeah. Thank you. I think there is one currently is happening in Kingdom Saudi Arabia, KSA, for management consultants conference. I'm not aware of the details, but consultants, as you know, they are competing with each other. So consultants will come to meet with each other. It's locally, it's good. But what is important for this international development arena, in which currently our work is international development, is usually to have joint venture and partnership between local NGOs and international NGOs, local consultants and international consultants. There's a number of projects coming into the region, engineering project, for instance, another project in democratic and governance, another project in economic growth, where there is a need for Lama's NGO and then a Spanish NGO, or Lama work and maybe another consulting firm from Germany. So the DARPE is pioneer in this, because we have a lot of international consulting firms, international NGOs who are on the database. And he's also artificially linked to the opportunities, so you can see who is, as Lama said again, matching. But this matching is still artificial, so it's based on the expressed interests of sectors and services and expertise. But linking these consultants together is important, in which they can join together into a consortium or into a partnership, and they jointly bid for a project, and they jointly win the project, and they jointly implement the project in a co-creation process, co-creation and co-collaborate. So yes, I'm not aware of any in the region, unless the ones that in Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, there is something called the Management Consulting Association, Management Consultants Association. DARPE is doing this virtually, so people can connect to each other, but maybe we need to do it in a more, as Lama said, in a more of partnering things together. But as I said, in order to partner, you need to be informed. And in order to be informed, as Lama said as well, we are good readers. You need to understand the agenda and the development agenda, political, socio-economic agenda of the partner organizations. And then both of the local NGOs and the international, we work into a common purpose together, a purpose fit, which is by the end of the day, serving, I think, the Middle Eastern community and citizens to thrive and to have a better living conditions and to live peacefully with all the requirements similar to any other people in the northern part of the region, in the north of the globe. So here is our purpose fit. And then when the purposes gets together, the purpose, your purpose with the other organization purpose, you get a great partnership. And then you can work and you can win together. It's important. Specifically, these partnerships are important nowadays because of the localization agenda or decolonization agenda. USAID, according to their country strategy development all over the region and Egypt, the Middle East and even Asia, they said 25% of their money should be going directly to local organizations, not to an American contractor and then to a local organization, but directly to a local organization. Until now, they have achieved a 10% of their budget to local organization. They want direct work to local organization in which they lead, these local organizations lead the project, lead the ideas, more locally oriented ideas that will get more of ownership and sustainability. So these partnerships are really needed now more than ever. And that's why, as what Lama said, and that's why international organizations and donor agencies are looking for local ones as much as local ones looking for international ones. So it's same interest. Okay. Thank you, Karim. From Nancy Abdul Ghani, hello, thanks for the fruitful presentation. Can you share with us? Yes, we will share the presentation with everyone attending today's webinar. I hope that you have benefited from the information shared today, and the trends of development aid and the way the practices of scouting, engaging, positioning, and capturing, and the way that you need to build a lot of intelligence around your opportunity in order to prepare the opportunity for a stage or a winning proposal. We said the 7 items: important client competition, your corporate strength, understanding of the RFP, the price to win, the key personnel. Hopefully this will give you like a revolutionary way of thinking towards success and towards winning mindset. Thank you so much for attending today. We will share the presentation, and thank you for trusting the platform, and thank you for your presence. Thank you so much. If you have any question, you can connect us through DARPE platform. We have the chat, and we have the info, we have the email, and the concerned people will certainly reply to you at any time. Thank you so much. Have a nice time. Bye-bye.